Good morning, people. Good morning, good morning, good morning. As you can see, we have a warm up to get started on, just as a review of what we did yesterday, making sure we remember how to do it. If we're looking at this and we're like, man, we really have no idea how to do it, we can go over it real quick. I was going to go over it when we start class, anyways. But yeah, we just dropped a bunch of viewers, which is interesting. I guess everyone heard my voice and decided, absolutely not, I'm not listening to that. But hopefully they'll come back, because we got some learning to do. We're going to talk about some parallel and perpendicular lines, and it's going to be a good day. So yeah, if y'all get started on the warm-up, and then we will move on from there. If you want to just go ahead and throw a hi in the chat, or a hello, so I know who's here. It's easier to me when I know who I'm teaching to. Hey. If you're just now getting here, we're doing the warm-up real quick. If you want to throw a hello in the chat so I know you're here. We're going to be going over the warm-up in about 2.5 minutes. Alright, y'all. Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome back. Hopefully day 2 is just as good or better than day 1. Yeah, and we're gonna start going over this problem. So this is pretty much a review of what we did yesterday. We remember from yesterday that we have the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b. Okay, and then we're going to go through, and we know that m is the same thing as our slope. Whoop. Okay, so we can plug that in, and then what we're going to want to do is we're going to solve for b. We want to find out what that b is, so we can find the whole equation. So we're going to plug in our y and our x in to solve for b. So negative 2 equals negative 2 over 3 is our m. Our x is 2. I promise my handwriting's going to get better one day, y'all. Plus b. Okay. Then we multiply. We get negative 2 equals negative 4 over 3 plus b. When we multiply this is the same thing as 2 over 1, right? So we multiply fractions, just multiply across. So negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. 3 times 1 is 3. We keep going. Back to the green. We add, oh no, we can do purple actually. We add 4 over 3 to both sides. And when we do that, we're going to be left with b on the right, or left, whatever. B equals, so negative 2 plus 4/3 is going to be negative 2/3. I hope I did that right. I'm going to plug in my calculator just to make sure. Yeah, negative 2/3. Alright, so now we got our b, we got our m. We can write our final equation. Y equals mx, so negative 2 over 3, x plus b, so minus 2/3. And that's our equation. So this is one of those cases where even if we had a graph for this line, we'd still need to do the math to find our y-intercept. We still need to do the math to find the b, because it didn't cross at a obvious point. You know, if we saw this graph, it'd be something like this. Okay, so b is negative 2/3. Slope is negative 2 over 3. So it'd be something like a line coming through like this. Okay. Obviously, this is not a very good drawn to scale, but you get the point. And we don't know where that point is. We don't know where that b value is. Once we do the math, we know it's negative 2/3. But this is one of those cases where we have to do the math to figure it out. Any questions about that? I'm going to pause for a second or two to see if anyone wants to jump in with like, hey, wait, how did this work? I don't know about y'all, but I'm doing a lot of yawning and stretching today. Where's my mouse? There it is. All right, so I'm going to move on to the next slide. New things. Oh, wait, never mind. There's a review. So, step-by-step process of what we do to find the equation of lines, okay? We have to know our equation is y equals mx plus b. That's the basics. We know that's what we're solving for. That's our, that's our starting point, okay? From there, we work from the inside out. So first we have to find m. We have to find the slope. We have to find how steep the line is. Okay. Then we take a y and x that's on the line. Okay, so like last time we used 2 and negative 2. So we just take some point that we know and plug that in for y and x with our m. Then we solve for b. Then once we solve for b, we have to make sure we rewrite our equation. Honestly, the most common thing missed here is forgetting this step 4. Forgetting to rewrite your equation. And so as long as we can remember that to do that, we will be good. Alright. Moving on to new stuff. Parallel lines. Okay? So parallel lines are lines that have the same slope. Okay? We've talked about parallel lines and non-graph concepts, and they're, parallel lines are equidistant from each other. They go all the way, they never touch. Right? But when we put it on a graph, the way that they're not going to ever touch, the way they're going to be separate from each other the whole time, is if they have the same slope. Okay? And so what we can do with parallel lines is if we have one line like this, okay? Oh no, go back. I like to think about parallel lines as just like copying the line and moving it over. Okay? So clearly these two lines are parallel because they have the same slope. I just copy them. And boom, now we have another parallel line. And boom, now we have another parallel line. And hopefully that makes sense. How we have those parallel lines, they have the same slope. What's different about these is even though all these slopes are 1, the y-intercepts are different. And that's how we get different lines from the same slope. Okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the fact that parallel lines have the same slope to find equations of some lines. So an example. We have a line, okay? This line goes through the point -3, -2. And it's parallel to the line y equals -4 plus 3, right? So, this new line, this line that we're trying to find, okay, the line that goes through the -3, -2, okay? What is the slope of this line? What is our m value? I'm going to wait and see if someone can figure it out. How do we know the slope of this line? Of our new line that we're trying to find here? Yeah, so the slope's going to be -4, as Morgan said, okay? The way she got that is she saw this equation over here, okay? And she knew y equals mx plus b, right? And when I line it up like that, it's really easy to tell, all right? Obviously, y is y, x is x, b is going to be plus 3. And so my slope here is -4, which means my slope of my new line is going to be -4. Okay? Now that we have the slope, if we think back to our order of how we do things, we know our equations y equals mx plus b. We found our slope. Now to find our line, we just have to plug in our y and x values. So we're going to do that. We're going to plug in our y and x values. So we're going to say y equals mx plus b. So -2 equals -4 is our m. Our x is -3 plus b. And then just like we were doing yesterday, just like we did for the warm-up, from here we solve for b. So when we go through and start solving, we get -2 equals -4 times -3, negative make it positive. 4 times 3 is 12, plus b. Subtract 12 from both sides, we get -14 equals b. And then our last step is we got to rewrite the equation back as the y equals mx plus b. So y equals -4 x minus 14. And that's it. So really the only new thing we have here is being able to see that the new line slope is going to be the same as the old line slope. I'm going to pause here for a second for y'all to ask questions. And then we're going to go on and start. Then we're going to have y'all do one on your own. Cool. Hopefully we're good. So I want y'all to try this one on your own. It looks a little scarier, but I promise it's not. It's not going to bite you. And see if you can try to find the new line, the line that goes through 4, 2 on your own. And give y'all like a minute for this. Give y'all like 12 more seconds on this. We're going to go over it. Alright, so when we're doing this, first thing we got to see is we got to see our slope. So our slope of our new line is going to be the same as the slope of our old line. So that's going to be 3 over 4. So m equals 3 over 4. From there we plug in our y and our x's. So 2 equals 3 over 4 is our m. Y equals mx. Next thing is our x. 4 plus b. Solving for b. 2 equals 3/4 times 4. The 4's cancel out. And that's going to be left with 3 plus b. Subtract 3 from both sides. B equals -1. And then rewrite our equation. Y equals 3/4 x minus 1. Alright. I'm going to move on. If you didn't get that, I will come back to it as soon as you type in chat that you didn't get it. As soon as you type in chat that we need to go over it. So, next thing we're going to talk about are perpendicular lines. Okay? You remember perpendicular lines are lines that form a right angle. Okay? When we get these right angles, we start to have relationships for the slope. Okay? And what we call this relationship is the negative reciprocal. Okay? Negative reciprocal. Alright? Basically what you're doing is you're taking your slope and you're flopping it. Okay? So like our old slope is m, right? And we can think of that as m over 1. Okay? So let's say our old slope was 7. We can think of 7 as 7 over 1. Okay? Then we're going to flop the top and the bottom. We're going to switch it up. We're going to take the top, put it on the bottom. We're going to take the bottom, put it on the top. Okay? So then, once we flop it, then it's going to be 1 over 7, right? Or it's going to be 1 over m. But it's not just the reciprocal. That's the reciprocal right there. It's the negative reciprocal. And so then we're going to slap a negative sign on it. Okay? Same thing with fractions, just regular fractions. If we have a over b as our slope, our new slope of our new line is going to be negative b over a. Okay? Then once you have the slope, you just go through like normal and plug and chug. Okay? One thing to point out. Let's say my slope was negative, let's say 4 over 5. Okay? When we flop this, we're going to get 5 over 4. Right? Negative 5 over 4 when we take the reciprocal. But it's the negative reciprocal, so now we have to take the negative of negative 4 over 5. Two negatives make a positive, and that's just going to give us 5 over 4. I misspoke there. We're taking the negative of negative 5 over 4, but y'all get the point. Okay? So, from negative 4/5, we got to positive 5/4. Okay? And that is perpendicular lines. So, I'm going to go through and I'm going to solve the first 3, show you how I do it, and then y'all are going to go through and solve the next 4 for just finding negative reciprocals. Alright? So, negative 2 over 3, I'm going to flop it to negative 3 over 2, and then 2 negatives make a positive. So there's my final answer. Positive 3 over 2. This 3 I'm going to think about as 3 over 1. Okay, when I flop that, that's going to be 1 over 3. And then we make a negative. So negative 1 over 3. This 1, we think we got as 1 over 1. When we flop that, it's still going to be 1 over 1. Then make a negative. So negative 1 over 1. Or just negative 1. Alright, I want y'all to try the next 4 on your own. Okay? If you have any questions about it, ask. I'm going to give y'all like 45 seconds to try these, because I think if we get it, it'll be quick, and if we don't get it, then we need to go over it and ask questions anyways. And so, give y'all like 30 seconds from now to do these next 4 problems. And yeah. Alright, so going over these real quick. What'd y'all get for the first one? This 1 over 5. Where's my mouse? Oh, there it is. This 1 over 5. What is the negative reciprocal of 1 over 5? Yeah, Fabian, negative 5 over 1. Okay, so we flop, turn it into 5 over 1, and then we make it negative. Okay, we know negative 5 over 1 is also just negative 5. Awesome. Next one, we do the same thing. This negative 7 over 2, we flop it. We get negative 2 over 7. And then negative and negative make a positive. It's negative 6. We think about negative 6 over 1. Okay, and then we flop it. Then it's going to be negative 1 over 6. And then 2 negatives make a positive. So it's going to be 1 over 6. Did anyone get this last one? Did anyone get this 0.5? The negative reciprocal of 0.5. I'm going to let y'all actually answer this one to see if anyone got it. If y'all didn't, it's okay, because decimal and fraction mixture things are weird. But, yeah. Alright, cool. So it sounds like no one got it. Okay? There's two ways to think about this, okay? And they both sort of work out the same. So we can still think of this as 0.5 over 1, right? Okay? But 0.5 over 1 is weird. We don't know anything really about that fraction. Okay? So what you can do is you can change this 0.5 over 1. I'm going to multiply both the top and the bottom by 10 and get 5 over 10. Okay? That's still the same ratio, right? 0.5 over 1, multiply the top by 10 to get 5, multiply the bottom by 10 to get 1. And then we do that, that's obviously 1/2. So the negative reciprocal is negative 2. Okay? Other way you can think about it is you could just know that 0.5 is just 1/2. Just from knowing what it is. And the last thing is 1 over 0.5. You could have gone all the way to negative 1 over 0.5. And then from there, multiply both sides by 10 to get this out of the bottom. So the reason I multiplied by 10 is I just had a decimal. I had one decimal point. If I had like 0.56 or something like that, I would multiply by 100. I'll do 0.56 over 1 and multiply by 100. That was a tricky one. I think most of the times when we give them to you, we're going to give them you in fractions, but that was just to see what you could do. All right, let's practice this perpendicular stuff. So we want to know the equation of a line that goes through negative 5, 5. All right, that's perpendicular to this line, okay? So the first step, always first step, we know it's y equals mx plus b. And after that, we got to find our slope. We got to find our new slope. Okay, so our old slope is 5 over 7, right? Old slope is 5 over 7. So 5 over 7 is going to change into 7 over 5 when I flip it, excuse me. And then we know it's negative. So our new slope is negative 7 over 5. All right? That's the tricky part of this problem. Remembering to find the negative reciprocal. Once we have the negative reciprocal, we go through and we plug and chug. So plug in our y and our x values. So our y is 5 equals our m is negative 7 over 5. Our x is negative 5 plus b. The 5's cancel out here. The negatives also cancel out here. So then we're going to be left with 5 equals 7 plus b. Subtract 7 from both sides. And you get b equals negative 2. And then we just rewrite our equation. Y equals mx. Alright, this is something people sometimes mess up. Whenever you go back to get your M, you got to make sure you get our new slope. I see a lot of people do everything completely right over here. They use the right slope here, but then they plug in the wrong slope. Okay? Don't do that. No, no, no. So you got to do the new slope when you plug it into your equation. I'm saying that just because even though it seems like a simple thing, that's something people still not manage to miss. Some people still accidentally mess up. All right, I'm going to pause for like 15 seconds for anyone that type of question. Then we're going to have y'all try one on your own, and then we are done. Alright, hopefully we're good. So, yeah. I want y'all to try this one on your own, and then we're going to go over it, and then we're done. And that's geometry for today. Give y'all, let's say, a minute and a half to try this on your own, and then we will go over it, and then we will be good. Feel free to ask questions during this time. I'm literally just chilling. Okay, so is that one of the problems on the assignment, Morgan? I meant to not give any of those, but basically what happens is if you think about the line y equals -5, I thought I took all those out. Okay, so the line y equals -5 looks something like this, right? Pretend it actually goes to that -5. Okay? So it's parallel to the x-axis. It just goes left to right. It's completely flat. Okay? Then you think about the point 3, 4. Okay, 3, 4 would be like up here. So this point right here, okay, we keep the same slope, it's just going over. It doesn't go up at all. And so what happens is you just go over like this. And so what ends up happening is, if I could draw this at all pretty, it ends up just being a flat line. So our new equation is going to be y equals 4 because it's completely flat. The slope is 0. The slope is 0. And so when you have a 0 slope, then it doesn't matter what the x values are. It's just y equals 5. If you said like perpendicular to y equals -5, well then that line would be perpendicular, makes a right angle like this. And so here's our parallel. Our perpendicular one would be x equals 3 because it's just a vertical line that goes through it. If we miss that'll be okay. I was gonna touch on that real quick Monday. All right, going over this one, number 4, this practice problem that we had. First we have our slope is -1/2, right? It's perpendicular to this. So -1/2 turns into -2/1. Then negative make it positive, so positive 2/1. So our slope is 2. All right, and then we plug in our y equals mx plus b. So -3 equals 2 times -2 plus b. So -3 equals multiply 2 times -2, -4 plus b. Add 4 to both sides, b equals 1. And we rewrite our equation. Y equals, make sure we use our new slope, 2x plus 1. Alright, that's all I have for y'all. Before y'all leave, I gave y'all these problems to practice. Oh well, y'all be fine. We don't need to do it. If y'all want to do these practice problems together, we can do those. First, if y'all fill out the survey before you leave, I really appreciate that. If for some reason this link doesn't work, this is the full link down here. So here's the full link, but this link should work as well. Yeah, the assignment that I posted is due Sunday at 11:59, but do it now. Y'all are in the math mood, and if you finish it and turn it in, I will grade it before then. I'm planning on grading all day tomorrow, and so although I'm not assigning an actual grade, I can give you feedback, make sure you know what you're doing. It's that way we're good and we keep moving on. Yeah. If anyone wants to stick around and go over those 4 problems on this last page, this last slide, we can do that in about a minute and a half. But other than that, y'all are good. Thank y'all so much for coming. Hope this was a good class. Hope you felt like we learned something. And yeah, see y'all soon. It's weird, Fabian, because actually what's happening right now is we're not allowed to give actual grades because there are some people who might not have access to what we're doing. Let's say you didn't have a computer at home or you didn't have a phone at home. You couldn't do anything that we're doing right now. Okay, and so even though you would still be falling behind, we can't just give grades for it yet. Okay, and so one of 2 things are going to happen. Either we're going to come back soon, like right after spring break like we're planning, and then we're just going to hit it hard, get some grades in, and make sure we're all where we're supposed to be. The second thing that might happen is we might not be able to come back as soon as we want to, and they'll decide, all right, everyone who doesn't have access to devices now hopefully does. Hopefully we got that taken care of, and so we can start giving actual grades. And so basically to answer your questions, I don't know. Not this week, probably not next week. No problem. Thank you for coming. Hopefully this was more entertaining than The Office. Give people about 30 more seconds to do get this survey copied down so they can go fill it out. And then if anyone wants to go over those problems, we can go over those problems. Alright, y'all. Is there anyone who wants to go over these 4 problems here? Does anyone want to practice them and talk about the answer or anything like that. Because if y'all do, awesome, I would love to. If y'all don't want to, I don't really want to waste your time, and I just want to say, like, all right, cool, we're good. So if you want to, go ahead and throw in chat, like, can we please go over number so-and-so, or can you give me some time to try them, or something like that. If anyone needs me to flash back to the survey, just let me know. Thank you, Lance, for filling it out. I got your response. And, yeah. Just let me know what y'all need. Since no one said anything, I'm going to swap back to the survey and go get some water and walk away. Yeah, here's the survey back if anyone needs it. And y'all are good to go. Thank you so much for coming. I'm going to be doing this all again at 10 in case you missed it. After 10, I'm going to be posting the replay of it if y'all need to see that. And yeah, go ahead and work on that assignment. Turn it in as soon as possible, and I'll grade it as soon as possible. Vivian, I got your response. Thank you. Alright, I'm going to go log off. If you need me anymore, just email me. And if you're coming back at 10, I'll see you at 10. Adios.